Thursdays, a huge block where we discuss the politics of a particular area. My colleague Lofty Metambo has been on the North Rift politics, but at this particular hour, we are on the battlegrounds, Elgeyo-marakwet gubernatorial race. It is going to be a very fierce one of the battle royales that people are keenly looking at as we head into the general election with just 32 days to go. And we are coming to you live from Eldoret, or the City of Champions, if you like. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Akisa Wandera. So let's begin with how. Before we take a look at some of the Super Bowls, it would be good to remind you that in studio I am with the governor for Elgeyo-marakwet County, Alex Tolgos, who's seeking a second term. Many thanks for joining us in studio. As well as the former immediate managing director of Sasinity, Moses Changwony, who is vying as an independent candidate. Many thanks for joining us here on Choice 2017. So this debate will be between these two gentlemen who have been quipped to be the major contenders in this particular race. And, you know, as we do it, we always engage with you in this program. So we ask you, especially if you have the vote from the county of Elgeyo-marakwet, who would you vote for in the gubernatorial race? Who would you vote for in the gubernatorial race of Elgeyo-marakwet County? Is it Alex Tolgos, the incumbent? Is it Moses Changwony, who's vying as an independent candidate? And definitely we have other candidates who are running, one under the KANU ticket, another under ODM, and another as an independent candidate. Tweet us at KTN News, at Akisa Wandera. Any questions you have for the two governors to be, depending on how the people of Elgeyo-marakwet will vote, and I'll definitely be posing these questions to them. The hashtag to use is Choice 2017 for easier tracking of your responses online. Let's now take a look at how Rift Valley at large has been voting, and then we get into Elgeyo-marakwet and how they voted in 2013. So in 2012, Rift Valley voted for Uhuru Kenyatta 759,075, which translates to 53%. They voted for Uhuru Kenyatta under the KANU ticket, and Mwai Kibaki with NAC 616,336 voted for Mwai Kibaki, which translated to 43.0%. And that was a very close one in 2002. But when it came to 2007, the numbers were quite distant. Raila Odinga got overwhelming support from the people of the Rift Valley province before we got into the devolved functions. Raila Odinga via ODM got 47.5% of the vote, which was slightly more than 1 million votes. And Mwai Kibaki from PNU garnered 449,011 votes, which translated to 18.9%. So the people of Rift Valley largely voted for Raila Odinga in 2007. And in 2013, the tables seemingly turned against Raila Odinga. Most of them voted for Uhuru Kenyatta under the Jubilee Alliance with 211,438 votes that he garnered. And that is Elgeyo-marakwet County specifically, and not Rift Valley province as a whole. So 211,438 voted for Uhuru Kenyatta under the Jubilee Alliance, translating to 74.265%. Raila Odinga from ODM, after getting 1 million votes from the larger Rift Valley province, Elgeyo-marakwet people gave him 60,060 votes, which translates to 21.9%. And Musalia Mudavadi via the Amani National Congress got 7,208 votes, which translated to 2.53%. The population here, as per the 2009 census records or statistics, is 369,998. This is a county that predominantly is occupied by two communities, the Marakwets and the Kayos. And we are privileged to have people from both, gentlemen from both of these communities in studio tonight. Well, so we'll see how that goes. 4 constituencies in this particular county, seemingly split between the Kayos and the Marakwets. We have Kayo South, Kayo North, Marakwet East, and Marakwet West. And the number of registered voters as of the statistics we have from the IEBC on 2017 is 108,664. Some of the facts you need to know there about Elgeyo-marakwet. Thank you very much once again for joining us here on Choice 2017. So let's begin. I'll start with you, Governor. As an incumbent, you're seeking a second term from the people of Elgeyo-marakwet. Why do you think you deserve a second term?
Thank you so much, Giza, for giving me this opportunity. I want to appreciate also KTN for giving us an opportunity to talk to our people and also to air some of the things that we want our people to know. First of all, I want to appreciate the people of Elgeyo-marakwet for giving me an opportunity in 2013 to be their first governor. And as you know, since 2013, devolution having been a new phenomenon in Kenya, we, as the first governors, we had a very difficult task in setting up structures in counties. And personally, I want to say that the first 2.5 years, we were just running up and down to establish structures and to build capacities in counties. And I was not able to maybe achieve what I wanted to do for Elgeyo-marakwet in the first term. And that's why, as we seek for votes at this time, I'm requesting that the people of Elgeyo-marakwet to give me an opportunity maybe to finish what I already started in my first term. And I must say that Elgeyo-marakwet is one of the counties that receives very little resources from CRA. We are among the bottom 3 counties. And having that challenge, I think for me, I've had an opportunity to maybe interact with the people of Elgeyo-marakwet and even to try and look for ways of raising more revenue for the people of Elgeyo-marakwet. Because as you look at our budgets, for the last 4 financial years, we've been able to get an average of about 12 billion shillings. And out of that, an average of only 1 billion shilling goes to development. And when you look at, we did our CIDP in 2013, and having all the projects that the people of Elgeyo-marakwet wanted to be done in the first 5 years, we costed all the projects and realized that we needed about 38 billion to actualize all the projects in the 5 years. But when we look at what we get from CRA, removing money for recurrent expenditure, we only remain with an average of 1 billion. And the first year we had 800 million for development. The second financial year we had about 1 billion. Then the third financial year 1.1 billion. And the just concluded financial year we had 1.2 billion.
Yes.
So meaning that we have an average of 1.1. So meaning that in 5 years we have about 6 billion. And bridging the gap, 38 billion and 6 billion, meaning that we need another extra 32 billion to realize all the projects. However, we've been working hard to ensure that we reach to other partners to work with us in order to actualize these projects.
Governor, you're asking the people of Elgeyo-marakwet to vote for you once again, for you to be able to finish some of the projects that you were unable to finish in your first term. What are these projects?
Basically, I must say that when you look at what we wanted to do in terms of projects, like when you look at a sector like education, in our CIDP, we projected to develop 100 ECD centers. But we've been able to do about 117. So in terms of target, we exceeded our target. But now, as a governor, I would wish to have all the ECD centers in my county being constructed, about 420 ECD centers, meaning that we still have a lot of work to do. And just to tell you in summary is that the first term in my office, realizing that I could not do much in terms of development, we decided to adopt a different style which is unique to Elgeyo-marakwet. And our county assembly passed a law which is called the Equitable Development Act. And through this law, we were able to devolve all our funds to the ward level. And bearing in mind also that our county consists of the two main communities, the Keyos and Marakwet. And we realized that looking at the history, initially it used to be one district, and the reason why it split was because of the fight for the resources. And I decided that maybe to go away with this issue of having two tribes is to divide the county into 20 wards, where every ward are given their money to do their projects. And we've set structures, and right now I think we are among the only two counties that we've done a lot in terms of public participation, involving our citizens in deciding on what they want to do with their money. And more than 80% of our development budget goes to the wards, and every ward gets an average of 40 million, and they divide all this money through a public participation. And through that, we've been able to be even recognized worldwide through an organization called the Open Government Partnership. And they picked 4 counties in Africa, one in Kenya, and that was Elgeyo-marakwet, another one in Ghana and Tanzania. And last year, we went to France and to showcase the world what we are doing as a county.
All right.
Yeah.
Bwana Changwany, for you to want to be governor, it means that you are not entirely happy with the manner in which the county government of Elgeyo-marakwet is being run. Why do you want to represent the people of Elgeyo-marakwet as a governor?
Yeah, Akisa, to be honest, in my own assessment, the performance of the county government in the last 4 years is seriously wanting in that the development that the people of Elgeyo-marakwet would have desired to have cannot be accounted for today. I say this because Elgeyo-marakwet is a resource-rich county, particularly when you look at water resources and forest resources and agricultural potential and all these things. One would have expected the administration to have triggered one of these sectors into a second level in pursuit of creating the much-needed jobs for our youth. I don't see this, and this is one of the reasons that I feel my colleagues here who are on a tour of learning how to manage a county government, and perhaps they are now perhaps almost in the final stages of their internship. If you look at a sector like agriculture, for example, we can create substantial number of jobs if we use the little resources that the government has allocated today to actually drive agro-industry. I have in mind the potential for tea in this region and the potential for coffee, which in my view, we should be having the first 9,000 acres of tea growing now, small scale driven, and the first 9,000 acres of coffee growing today. That would have been triggered off by a very well managed nursery program and community sensitization so that we begin seeing some of these crops growing in the 4 sub-counties that we have. I don't see it today. And this is one reason I feel my brother here needs to take a rest so that we can redirect the direction of development in this.
So what are you bringing on the table?
When we get into office, I can tell you for certain that with that little budget, we will be able to establish 9,000 acres of small-scale driven tea plantation in the first 4 years. And that will trigger the first tea factory in the county. To me, that is 200 jobs created and 9,000 livelihoods transformed, if you look at it in terms of an acre per household. So those will be transformed households. Households today who, if they have to send a child to school, they have to call for Arambes. If he tells you how many Arambes he's attending today, with some of us, thousands of Arambes. Every simple problem in the village is solved by an Arambe. And yet, there is that potential. So that's one thing that will trigger. The other thing that will trigger to turn around that economy is today, every household has some livestock. And fortunately, the yield per cow in these households is only 3 liters. When we know technology and dairy development in Kenya has taken us to beyond 10, 15 liters. So we want to see a trigger along these to begin seeing transformation in our villages that will deliver this livestock to a level of between 10 to 15 liters per household. And the other trigger that we think we can do, the Hanging Valley, for example, is so resource rich. The coffee that will grow in Kerio Valley will not be compared with any coffee in Kenya in terms of its cappage. And I think it is possible. As you run the agenda for tea in the islands, you can easily establish the first 9,000 acres of coffee on the Hanging Valley, which stretches all the way from Kacholwa to the end of the county in Marakwet East. And I see potential for 10,000 acres there. And that is possible to trigger with a little budget that the county receives today.
Like he's complaining, or he is saying that they have been unable to do the things they had set out to do because of the little funding they're getting as a county government. How will you ensure that you achieve this if at all the funding is going to be the same as what the current county government has gotten?
He has not been able to attract any other funding other than what is given by the national government. And we all know that there are so many other sources globally. As long as you structure a government that can be trusted, that people can believe in, you can attract a lot of funding globally. I can tell you today, for any project, you can always get a shilling for a shilling that you invest. Mm-hmm. That's one way you can look at it. The other way, as he spoke to us, he says he only has 1 billion shillings for development, meaning 4 billion shillings, 3 billion shillings is going to recurrent expenditure. That's bad management to me. Because if you have 3 billion shillings on recurrent expenditure and only 4 billion shillings for development, that's the wrong approach. Mm-hmm. There needs to be a trigger there to see how you can balance that. Either you grow your revenue base to support the recurrent expenditure and at least balance it at around 50 or even at least 30%. But the way it is now, from me, what I hear from him, he only has 1 billion shillings for development, when we know he gets 3.8 billion shillings from government and he collects 200 million. So he has actually 4 billion shillings to spend.
All right. Governor, do you agree that you are a bad manager, and do you think it is possible to achieve the things Bwana Changwany here says he would set out to do if elected?
Okay, first of all, I want to say that looking at the background that Changwany comes from, he's been a manager at Darta, where maybe manages a few number of employees. And to me, I think he's never had an opportunity to manage a government. Because when we talk about Elgeyo-marakwet County, we are talking about a government. And some things look easy when you talk about them. And to me, I think Changwany is too theoretical. And another thing I must say is that maybe he has not been able to crisscross all the parts of Elgeyo-marakwet, because most of the things that he's talking about coffee, and we've done a subsidy program for all our coffee farmers in the Hanging Valley, where a farmer buys 1 seedling, we give them 1 seedling, and we've been able to grow so many acres of coffee in the Hanging Valley. We've done tea, and from 2013, we've been able to attract an investor, and right now, as we speak, we have a factory in Keyo South. And unfortunately, we are not able, the investor cannot be able to get enough seeds, tea for processing in that factory. They have to go all the way to Nandi to get tea to process in the factory. And all these things we've been doing. When you talk about like dairy sector, we were the first county to subsidize AI services from 67 goes at a retail price of 6,000 shillings. But in Elgeyo-marakwet, we give our farmers at 500 shillings. And the conventional semen, we give them at 200 shillings. So you realize that, first of all, I want to encourage my friend to go back to the ground, look at what we've done. Because when I talk about having not done all the things that we wanted to do, doesn't mean that we've not done anything. Right now, Elgeyo-marakwet is the only county in Kenya that has bought a processing plant In fact, it is only yesterday that we were cleared by KEPS to start processing our milk in Keyo South. And probably maybe by the end of the month, we will have milk from Elgeyo-marakwet in our supermarket shelves. Those are some of the things that we've been doing. But again, as I said, is that there are things that we cannot run away from. Like when we talk about health, this is a devolved function which we inherited from national government. And when you look at our budget, 1 billion goes to personal emoluments for health staff. And unless Changwon tells me that he wants to lay off staff and close all the facilities in order to save money to take more money to development.
So for you, you're not a bad manager, as
I'm not a bad manager, but the difference between me and my friend is that he has not had an opportunity to manage a government. And there is a difference between managing a government and private sector. For example, when he talks about having worked in DL Koisagat, personally, I went there. I wanted to see what Changwon was talking about, and I realized that decisions are made very easily in a private sector, but there are things that they are easily talked about in theory, but actualizing it in government is very difficult because we are talking about things that has to be passed through the county assembly.
Okay.
So when you talk about doing some things, sometimes it has to go, there's a process that is done in government in order to actualize some of
All right,
Yeah,
so you're majorly
Akisa, I think it would be very wrong for my governor here to tell Kenyans that I have no experience in managing government. I want to remind him that actually his first stint in managing government establishment is when we elected him to be governor. I've served as an assistant secretary, as an undersecretary in Ministry of Energy after I graduated from university. I worked for Tana and other river development authorities, which is a government parastatal for a very long time. So it is very wrong for him to actually say I have no experience. In any case, I could have much more experience than he has in managing government establishment. On the other hand, he says the staff complement that I've been managing is small. He has a staff complement of 2,100. In Sassini, we had a staff complement of 4,000. So if we're really talking experience in handling a large number of workforce, I think he has it wrong there. And let me also correct the position that it is difficult to manage government. In fact, if there are systems that are so robust and good and flawless, it is government systems. The only problem that we have is people want to cut shortcuts. And that's where you get problems. If you are to really manage government the way it is structured, it is a very structured, a very well-structured machine, sometimes even better than private sector.
Okay. I'd like us to go to something else. Some of the accusations that have been peddled against the current county government, the people of Keyo say they have been neglected by this particular county government. You're from Keyo. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, Akisa, we have this feeling that, and this is why we are calling for change. That's another reason. Because we think he failed miserably in balancing the communities. He failed miserably. I will give you an example. His first budget in 2013, the ward that I come from, which is Chepkorio ward, was allocated 4 million shillings. He allocated Endo ward 40 million shillings. We expected that maybe he would continue balancing that transfer so that we would have to see maybe 40 million shillings in Marakwet West, then begin seeing 40 million shillings in Keyo North, and then eventually Keyo South. Then it would balance. But we have not seen it up to today. But what that triggered was what he spoke about a while back, the EDA. And that triggered the MCAs to say we cannot trust the governor anymore. And we want a system that allocates resources equitably. And credit for EDA actually should go to the MCAs of the county, because he even didn't sign it. It ascended into a bill itself due to passage of time, because he didn't want to sign it. But it became a law because it passed the mandatory, the regulatory period that within which this time, if the governor has not signed it into law, it becomes law. And that's a fact that it's there for everybody to come.
So you feel sidelined as a person from the Marakwet, from the Keyo community?
We feel there should be a balance. Each of these 4 sub-counties must feel they have a government. But at the moment, we feel we are a bit disadvantaged in terms of resource allocation, in terms of even staff placement.
Governor, how do you respond to this?
First of all, as I talked earlier, is that Changkwony is talking from a point of misinformation because, first of all, when we talk about balancing the 2 communities, up to date,
the sub-counties, not communities.
Up to date, we've managed to employ 1,322 staff at the county, and out of that, 662 are from Keyo North and Keyo South sub-counties, and 660 comes from Marakwet sub-county. When you look at the staff distribution all the way from CECs, we have 2 CECs in Keyo South, we have 2 in Keyo North, we have 3 in Marakwet West, and we have 2 in Marakwet East. When you come to chief officers, which is the second level of senior staff in the county, 2 are from Marakwet East, 2 are from Marakwet West, 3 are from Keyo North, and 2 are from Keyo South. Public Service Board, we have 2 members in Keyo South, 1 member in Keyo North, 2 in Keyo North, 2 in Marakwet West, and 1 in Marakwet East. And that is balanced by the position of...
Let me ask what rationale
All right, gentlemen.
you had.
We are definitely getting to that. Let's just take a quick break. I will let both of you allay the fears you have about the balancing, and you will have to defend yourself. Let's take a quick break here on Choice 2017. Don't go too far. We still have a lot more Atlanta for you here.
This is KTN News.